Thank you, Nathaniel. It's good to hear you in the room. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Shelter Rock. I'm the Reverend Dr. Natalie Fenimore. I'm a minister here at this congregation along with the Reverends Jennifer Brower and Jay Brooks, who are here today greeting. I hope you saw them outside as they offered you welcome. I'm also joined today by our worship associate, Winterflower Robinson. Winterflower will be joining us remotely. We come together to worship this morning, live streamed and also in person here in our worship room for the first time since March of 2020. So many people have worked and struggled and been challenged to make this happen, and I want to offer on your behalf our thanks to our musicians, to our facility staff, to those who are running our AV equipment, to everybody who has gotten today in motion. As we do celebrate together this wonderful moment, please remember that we do still need to take precautions. Keep your masks on. Keep some physical distance. The pews, if you see, have limited seating. The balcony is closed. There is more distance seating available in the social hall for those who need more distance seating, and there are screens there so you can see the service from there and gather with your friends and congregants and new people that you might meet. The choir is actually in the art gallery behind us. You will hear them behind you and see them up on the screen. So yes, this is a little different. But we're on the move to this new place, and we just require a little bit more patience as we get there. But, and always, we are a community of care, and it is good to be together. So let us join together now in worship. As we re-enter our worship room, I want to take a moment to offer these opening words, which are usually used for building dedications, because this feels a little bit like a rededication of this building. This is A Place of Meeting by Eileen Karpels. Out of wood and stone, out of dreams and sacrifice, the people build a home. Out of the work of their hands and hearts and minds, the people fashion a symbol and a reality. May this house be truly a place of meeting, meeting with one another in warmth and joy and openness, meeting with one another in courage and love and trust. May all who enter here trust one another so surely that they dare to share the deep fires that burst into anger as much as the sweet spring waters that swell into laughter. The slow erosion of wounded tears as much as the soaring song. May these walls know silence as 100 hearts search inward, each for its own small spark of hope that might otherwise be snuffed out in the noise. May these rafters hear the voice of the child as surely as that of the elder, and the sound of the organ and the clack of the keyboard and the swish of the broom, and know that all are as holy as the shout of 1,000,000 stars. May the rain fall lightly on this house, and the sun shine warmly, and the winds blow softly, and bless it as a place of joy and peace. I now light our chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. not to be blown out by the wind.
Please join in the words of affirmation. The congregation's words of affirmation express the purpose and intent for our gathering in religious community. Many here and online know the words by heart. Others do not. To keep us together as one community, we will say the words of affirmation as call and response. I will say a line, and you will repeat after me. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need, this do we affirm and covenant with each other. Today's offering goes to the North Shore Soup Kitchens.
Come sit beside me and hear a story of long ago when the people lived free. Name the waters and all the places high and low. There was a plain they called Chicago. It meant a place where strong things grow. And Kentucky meant the land of green meadows. Ancient places, sacred lands, names we know so well, but no one understands. Mississippi means big river, and Miami means great water. Arizona means a place where small springs flow. Ancient places, sacred land, names we know so well, but no one understands. Ancient places, sacred land, names we know so well, but no one understands.
I heard that song almost 30 years ago when I was watching Reading Rainbow with my children. I thought it was wonderful that they were being invited to understand that this land, which they live in, was the home of other people before, that we have the presence of these people often in the things that have been named around us without acknowledging that or knowing that. Native people, indigenous people, have lived in the Americas for at least 15,000 years, perhaps much longer, perhaps as long as 30,000 years. They walked across the long-vanished land bridge between Asia and North America at the Bering Straits. Many centuries ago, the people came traveling from north to south, east to west, to fill all the lands of the Americas. Native Hawaiians came from another direction, of course, sailing from the Polynesian islands. There are wide differences in the estimates of the population of the Americas before the European presence. The estimates range from 3 million to 18 million, but of course it's all a guess. So much was destroyed over time that you can't really say for sure what was here before. By the time the native peoples saw the Europeans arriving in the Americas beginning in 1492, the native people had so long occupied this land that it was not their new world, but their land, their place, their known world. And there was, and continues to be, great diversity among the native peoples, their civilizations ranging from the Aztecs to the mound builders, to the Iroquois Confederacy, to the Plains nations. Everywhere on the land, indigenous people have left a mark, but without the need to concentrate ownership of the land in private hands, not the need to see the land as a profit-making thing. Each tribal nation has its own connection to the land in which it's settled. The land is a touchstone, a marker, a constant support, a sustainer. History is made on the land. Ancestors are laid to rest in the ground. Creation stories are made visible in the very landscape. The connection to the spirits are clear in the changing of the seasons and the cycles of planting and growth and rest. It is all seen in the land. The land provides, the water provides. Indigenous values honor the land as a gift held in common trust. As Crowfoot, a chief of the Blackfoot Nation, said in 1885, "The land will always be here. Our land is more valuable than your money. It will last forever. It will not even perish by the flames of fire. As long as the sun shines and the water flows, this land will be here to give life to people and animals. We cannot sell the lives of people and animals. Therefore, we cannot sell this land. It was put here for us by the Great Spirit, and we cannot sell it because it does not belong to us. You can count your money and burn it within the nod of a buffalo's head, but only the Great Spirit can count the grains of sand and the pebbles on the ground and the blades of grass on these plains. As a present to you, we will give you anything we have that you can take with you, but the land, never." So it was with this understanding that there was an exchange of gifts that enabled the Europeans to live, to farm, to hunt, to fish on the island of Manhattan. It was not a sale of the land. But, in fact, the land was taken. Those who arrived from other places wanted this land, this beautiful, fertile land. And the native peoples, who others thought should be without the land and disenfranchised, were brutalized in the process. Our Unitarian Universalist ancestors took part in the inhumane treatment of Indian people. In 1870, President Ulysses Grant gave the American Unitarian Association charge of the Colorado reservation of about 8,000 people, as well as the Montana Indian Industrial School. In 1909, President Taft, a Unitarian himself, appointed the president of the American Unitarian Association, Samuel Atkins Elliott, to the Board of Indian Commissioners of the United States. In that role, Elliott gave a speech. The speech was entitled, "From the Scalping Knife to the Can Opener." This speech justified the policy of destroying Indian culture to replace it with the gift of the superior white culture. This dehumanizing, near-genocidal attitude toward and treatment of Indian peoples was a crime and a sin which resulted in massive population loss and societal instability to the point of near societal collapse. Native people experienced disease, colonization, malnutrition, social and physical dislocation, language loss, family separation, trauma, and the denial of the traditional religious and spiritual practices which enable the possible healing from these assaults. Imagine trying to recover from the COVID pandemic while the resources you need are consistently placed beyond your reach, beyond the reach of your community. Many tribes did experience this kind of devastating loss in history and today during the pandemic. Current trauma heaped onto historical trauma. But still, the American Indians, the native indigenous people of this land, did not perish. They are still here. In 2009, UUA President Bill Sinkford apologized to the Ute people for the mistreatment by Unitarians during the time when the American Unitarian Association managed reservations. And today, Unitarian Universalists stand with Indian resistance to oil pipeline development at the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation in North Dakota. The UUA General Assembly has disavowed the doctrine of discovery, which justifies colonialism. And we joined in welcoming Deb Hyland as the first Native American Secretary of the Interior. She is a member of the Lacuna Pueblo in New Mexico. We don't talk about these things to encourage or enhance guilt or shame, but we should acknowledge the past and learn from it so as not to repeat these crimes in the future. And it is the future that we must look to. At the COP26 International Summit on Global Warming, which is just ending, it highlighted the fact that it is indigenous people who are and will be the first to suffer the effects of climate change. Native people in the U.S. were removed to reservations, which are now lands that are more hot, with less water, and changing growing seasons. Centuries of land loss and forced relocation have left Native Americans more exposed to the severe effects of climate change. Indian reservations were often consciously placed in less desirable, less productive, remote lands. And they were often not even located in the areas that were the original traditional homelands of the tribal members. And the Indians who live in urban areas are also more likely to live in underserved and under-resourced locations where they will still suffer the effects of climate change first. In the words of Arvo Looking Horse of the Lakota Nation, now, we are in a critical stage of our spiritual, moral, and technological development as nations. All life is precariously balanced. We must remember that all things on Mother Earth have spirit and are intricately related. The Lakota prophecy of mending the sacred hoop of all nations has begun. May we find in the ancient wisdom of the indigenous nations the spirit and the courage to mend and to heal.
Today's offering goes to the North Shore Soup Kitchens and Aid Center of Queens County. We are collecting to help provide Thanksgiving meals for this holiday season. To donate to this special collection, use your smartphone or device and go to the Giving section of the UUCSR website at uucsr.org. Or place a donation in the basket at the rear of the tent or worship hall as you leave the worship service. There are volunteers available after the service if you would like to learn more about this program, which is sponsored by the UUCSR Social Justice Committee.
We gather in this moment for reflection, rest, and meditation. We gather acknowledging all that we hold in this moment as individuals, as a community. Our joys, our sorrows, our memories, our hopes. We gather to provide each other in this moment assurance that we are here to comfort one another. We gather in this moment to share the knowledge that we do not celebrate in isolation. I offer these words in reflection. Prayer Bowl by the Mohawken Tribal Council poet Corrine Wood. When the moon is turned upwards like a bowl waiting to be filled, we must fill it. We must fill it by honoring the spirits of creation with songs of joy and thanks, with foods created with our own hands, water for the thirsty, prayers for the people, prayers for the spirits, prayers for the Creator, prayers for ourselves, and the sacred instruments that join us to glory in this world, that join us to the glory of this world and to the world beyond our sleep. May we fill our bowls. May we fill them together. May it be so. Ashe. Thank you, choir. I appreciate so much your dedication. I know this has been a challenge. I know all the rest of you also want to sing together. Just hold on a little bit longer, okay? You can sing together outside. Space yourselves among the grass and just belt it out. It'll be good, it'll feel good. We're approaching Thanksgiving. It's actually one of the few times we talk about the range of Native presence in this country. We often don't think about the fact that there are East Coast and Southeast Native peoples. Unfortunately, the movies have given us this very narrow and stereotyped picture of the Indian nations. Not every tribe is or ever was in the American West. When the British and Dutch arrived from Europe to the shores of Long Island in the 1600s, 13 native tribes were here to meet them. 13. They'd been on the east coast of the United States for at least 10,000 years. Among these are the Rockaways, the Merricks, the Montauks, the Canarsies, the Shinnecocks, and the Manhassets. We still hear those names around us, of course. We live with those names. But by 1670, the European colonialization of this land was in full force, and the native peoples were encouraged to move or were forcefully removed from this area. A smallpox outbreak in 1658 killed 2/3 of the native people on Long Island. The largest tribal presence, the only federally recognized native nation nearby today, is the Shinnecock Nation. The Shinnecock Nation tribal land is located near Southampton. Historically, the Shinnecock, as with all colonialized peoples, suffered great losses. Their language, their customs, their self-determination, their economic autonomy, and their land were taken from them. Faced with this reality, the question for them is how to best use what land remains to them, their reservation, how to use the land to find a way forward to build prosperity for the people. In modern times, of course, because the Shinnecock are a modern people, as all natives are modern people, deep-rooted in history and tradition, but living in these times. And in these times, it is money and not trade that is seen as the way to prosperity. So looking around, the Shinnecock could see that other tribes had developed their land, other tribes had built casinos. So all around the Shinnecocks, there was a great uproar. The neighbors in Southampton, one of the wealthiest towns in the United States, did not want a casino. They did not want the wrong kind of people, and lots of them, coming their way to gamble. No big casino was to be allowed. Powerful neighbors, these powerful, wealthy neighbors and politicians have stopped casino plans on Shinnecock land for years and years. But surprisingly, there seemed to not be as much understanding that the Shinnecock should and could determine their own future. So this year, the Shinnecock announced their plan, their own plan for their land. The nation's vision is for a year-round, self-sustaining, non-gaming casino project. In the words of the tribal leaders, this will serve to uplift our people through income for social service programs, additional jobs, and a real presence on the East End. The focus of the facility is on health and wellness, overlooking the beautiful Peconic Bay. Only about 20 of the Shinnecock's 900 acres will be used for this project. No building will be over 4 stories high. This is not to say that there won't in the future be another push to get the casino idea going. It benefits not only the Shinnecock, but the gaming industry to engage in these kinds of big building projects. But as Kelly Moskeller has written in The Atlantic, there are ways to address economic and social challenges for Native Americans that are within a tribal system that doesn't undermine the fundamental nature of the tribe or destroy the land base necessary to create a strong and thriving community. Native people across the country are steadily making strides toward this goal, and their success is a testament to the courage and resilience of these communities. We will heal our broken communities from the ground up, not by selling or exploiting the ground beneath our feet. So, if and when the Shinnecock Nation builds their wellness resort, and if it is anywhere near wonderful, then you have to make a way to get there. Go. Engage with the Shinnecock people as they exercise their sovereignty, as they live on the land and try to use it for their communal good. There are so many wrongs to be righted between the Native people and the dominant culture. There is so much to be forgiven. There is so much more to be reconciled. Things done cannot be undone, but they don't need to be done again. As Unitarian Universalists, we uplift our common humanity and our interconnectedness. That is also the case for Joy Harjo, the U.S. Poet Laureate and member of the Creek Nation. She says, "We are all creators. We breathe. To speak is to form breath and to make manifest sound into the world. As I write, I create myself again and again, recreate and breathe. And see that not one voice, but that there are many, all colors, all sounds, all fears, all loves. Recreate and breathe. Recreate all colors, all sounds, all fears, but most of all loves. May it be so. Amen.
We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.